đó là một đối thủ yếu đi chăng nữa. Vậy thì cái tương lai của Royal Never Give Up trong cái khu vực bảng này tôi nghĩ là nó cũng chưa thể dừng lại ở mức độ là họ thắng trận này và có thể quyết định ngay là họ đứng ở vị trí thứ mấy. Đúng. Cùng với cả Royal Never Give Up họ vẫn còn đối thủ rất là mạnh nữa, thế nên đừng có quá chủ quan nữa. Sao vẫn xin chúc mừng bạn diện tương lai của từ khu vực Trung Quốc. Và sau đây chúng ta còn rất nhiều những trận đấu hay nữa trong ngày thi đấu hôm nay, và các bạn đừng đi đâu quá xa khỏi màn hình Việt Nam. Royal Never Give Up trong cái sẽ quay lại bảng này bằng những trận đấu thú vị đó sau ít phút nữa. Để dừng lại ở mức độ là họ thắng trận này và có thể quyết định ngay là họ đứng ở vị trí thứ mấy. Đúng. Cùng với cả Royal Never Give Up họ vẫn còn đối thủ rất là mạnh nữa, thế nên đừng có quá chủ quan nữa. Sao vẫn xin chúc mừng bạn diện tương lai của từ khu vực Trung Quốc. Và sau đây chúng ta còn rất nhiều những trận đấu hay nữa trong ngày thi đấu hôm nay, và các bạn đừng đi đâu
and
quá.
he needs to make sure he at least stays even.
And I also think it's a very interesting meta for bottom lane, especially when we're trying to evaluate it with CSDs at 10, when you have people taking calls and relic shields and gold runes to try and hit these mid-game power spikes. We should really be judging it of how effectively they get to that point, rather than necessarily exactly what their CS differential to be. But I definitely agree, Patton had a good game based on what we expected him to do against Uzi. It just wasn't enough.
So looking at what other games, we have G2 SSG next as we wait for this interview. I mean, I'm ready to keep on moving. This is amazing. Are you nervous? Why are you nervous? You're always nervous about this game.
Yeah, but I mean, we just saw RNG. It's the same group, exactly.
Yeah.
We mentioned that
Group
it's a three-horse race in this group for the most part, until Fenerbahce starts pulling upsets and makes us think otherwise. It's going to be...
I think most would have expected the victory to come.
I mean, that said, I think Deficio really nailed it on the tack end of that cast right there. He said it was a late game scaling composition. You don't expect RNG to blast out of the gates right there and start smashing kids in 13 minutes. Yes, there were some unforced errors, particularly from MLXG, a couple of iffy mid lane ganks, but otherwise it was just business as usual for RNG.
But I do wonder, is this going to be the tone of the group stage? Is it going to be barrier heal on both sides, relic shield on half the AD carries, methodical games? We said, okay, G2, Samsung, RNG are going to be the sword. They're going to be the aggressive team. And yet, what did we get? We got methodical. We got slow early games. And this may actually be the trend going forward.
And it's really interesting because that could actually hurt a team whose strength is supposed to be that early game. Yeah, well, we talk about team compositions. We talk about the bot lane meta and how that develops. We'll need some more information and some more games to really see what these teams are landing on. But I want to turn to you, Frost, because when the Rise pick came through, you slapped the desk and exclaimed, yes! So what's that about?
This is a signature pick for Xiaohu. As I said, Xiaohu is so good at playing the edges of a map. He needs high mobility champions. Talia, Rise comes to mind. And you saw exactly that. When it was these big key pickoffs in the late game, it was the Rise ultimate coming through, finding those guys. And that's exactly what makes Xiaohu so important to RNG.
No surprise then that NLXG put all of his focus into the mid lane on that Rek'Sai, even after getting set behind due to that early level 1 invade, putting all of his attention towards that mid lane. Frozen playing it about as well as he could have to avoid some of the ganks, but you know, at the end of the day, a couple kills go over to that Rise and the game opens up.
At the end of the day, when you see a comp like this, when it is the Rise and